Best of R slash Tales from Retail episode 3. So I work as a cashier at a pretty standard grocery store down here in Florida, and I've been here only since July. I've heard quite a few stories since I got the job, most funny to me being one about someone stealing a rotisserie chicken by hiding it in his pants, and one of our regulars pepper spraying a would-be thief. But in my time, it had very few issues with customers. As such, this might not be the most spectacular story, but for me, it was probably my rudest customer. At our store, we have a little counter with the printers for the receipt and coupons. Next to that, there is a small amount of counter space, and typically the girls from the bakery department would bring out fresh, warm cookies to place on there. More recently, they started putting out Thanksgiving cookies next to the bakery cookies, which combined took up all the space there. It never occurred to me that this would be a problem. So this older lady comes through one of the lanes, not quite a Karen, perhaps a bit older. She seemed nice, greeting me while my bagger smiled. She starts ringing stuff up, and it all goes smoothly, and everything is bagged up nice and neat, and it seemed like all was well. That was until she reached for her checkbook. The counter was covered by the aforementioned cookies, so she didn't have a place to put her checkbook. So she sorta condescendingly commented about it. I thought it was a joke and kinda chuckled a bit, but then without warning, she just shoved all of the cookies off of the counter and onto the floor, now asking even more condescendingly why in hell I would put those there. I was shaken for a second, but I told her that it wasn't me, but the bakery girls, and it probably wasn't good to just throw them over. She then got into a rant about my generation that I won't get into as it might be considered a flammable/hot button issue. This is my first post, so I'm not sure exactly what would qualify as that, but regardless, it definitely dampened my mood a bit. This wasn't a great day to begin with. Despite me not being there that long, the rest of the cashiers, as well as the self-checkout cashier, were newbies, so I was sorta in charge of them, which isn't fun when I hardly know all the ins and outs of the system. I wanted to be put on self, and the fact that they gave that to a newbie annoyed me, so TLDR, I wasn't in the best mood to begin with. But I did my best to hold back, and ended up silently finishing her order and sending her off. Of course, she couldn't leave without a remark at how those cookies better not be there next time I'm in here. And once she was gone, I had to clean up a little mess. Not fun. Very frustrating. The next person in line was nice about it, so that helped. But yeah, that's how yesterday went for me. Thank you. Next. Okay, so I work in quite a popular big box liquor retail outlet. One of our most popular beers, let's just call it S-Beer, hasn't been delivered for the last week due to the fact the brewery aren't assembling the boxes properly. Thus 90% of the cartons we get sent fall apart before they hit the shelves. One quite young fella, don't worry, to check his ID came through my checkout with the last box of S-Beer in stock, asking if we have another 2 cases because he's buying for his dad as well. So I explained the situation to him, colorfully describing the appearance of most of the cartons we're getting. Look, chewed out by rats. He looks at me worryingly, but at the time I'd thought he was concerned about the box falling apart on commute. Once it's sold and leaves the premises, I believe it's on you to secure its safety. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Fast forward an hour later, a woman comes in asking me why we're selling beer that has been infected by rats, how we're trying to kill her family with disease, how we have little regard for human well-being, etc. Apparently her son had said I told him all our stock has been infected by rats. My manager on duty luckily was just over my shoulder listening to this conversation. He jumps in. Unfortunately, every time I tried to get a word in, either her or my manager would cut me off. She didn't even seem to know it was Emmy who had served her son. That's what your person said. I know what my son said was the truth. Not a single thing we could have said would make her consider that her son is too stupid to differentiate colorful expression from a factual statement. After a bit of failed reasoning, she doesn't even take up our offer of our full refund for peace of mind. The customer proceeds to take my manager's name, my name, and claims she's going to the health department, the supplier and head office with our names in the typical "I'll have all your jobs" BS. Now I'm in a state of limbo as to how I feel about the situation. On one hand, I'm worried the company is going to consider action against me considering the pressure that may or may not come from allegations made to the supplier and / or health department. On the other, I'm quite sure she's just going to look like the biggest idiot if these allegations are investigated and nothing concrete surfaces. Just guess I've gotta ride it out. Thank you. Next. I work for a busy retail chain. I got a customer open up our store card and my excited manager made an announcement to the whole store that I just helped someone save money on their purchase, in which she included my name. I was already off register and walking to the back room when the announcement was made and I heard a customer say, "Wow, that, insert my name, must be amazing." I yelled, "Thanks," across the store and she said, "You go girl," hands raised in celebration. She started telling other customers my name because they were hearing our conversation across the store. I laughed and went into the back room. I'm done getting what I needed from the back room and I run into the hype queen. She said to another random customer, "Look, there's, insert my name, she's awesome. Best employee in this store. You rock." I smile and tell her thanks again and that I need to get a friend like her to hype me up. I'm back at the registers and the hype queen checks out at my co-worker's register. She keeps talking good about me to my co-worker and makes such a loud big scene about how awesome I am. My manager starts talking to her. My manager after she left, "Was that your friend? Did you know her?" Me. "No." Face with tears of joy. "Thank you." Next. So obligatory. This happened back in September. I had gotten a job a few weeks prior at a popular convenience store chain here in my state, and I am dealing with customers on a daily. One day, two customers came in not that far apart from each other and get into my line. I get the customer up to my register and he starts to ask me what big lottery drawing is happening that night. I let him know that I did not know, and I didn't care to know as I don't gamble. He proceeds to tell me that I work for this convenience store, and that it is my job to know what lottery drawing was happening that night. I took a step back from what he said, thought about it for a second, and said to myself, screw it, and let the customer know my thoughts. I told the customer that it isn't my job to know what lottery is playing at any given day or night. My job is to specifically ring up whatever it is that you want, and that is the extent of my job. If you want to know what lottery is playing, grab your smartphone and look it up yourself. The customer of course didn't like that, and complained to my manager. A few minutes after he left, another customer did almost the exact same thing to my co-worker, and she almost repeated everything that I said back to her customer. The customer basically brushed it off and walked out of the store. We never saw those customers again. Thank you. Next. So I'm a cashier at a grocery store, and I was scanning this lady's items. But this lady kept on bossing me around telling me that this item isn't packed correctly or you are putting too much items in this bag, and she kept on shouting at me, yelling at me, insulting me and threatening me because I'm not doing her stuff her way. So then she goes, "I'm going to complain to your manager. You're not listening," or something along those lines. And so I apologized to her for my actions in a nice way, but she just goes, "Don't fucking worry about it," and gets all upset and angrily takes her shopping away. Then I see her at the front desk complaining to my supervisor about me, and I just shrug it off, roll my eyes at the lady and go on with my day without a single F. Then the next month after this incident, I dyed my hair a different color, cut my hair, decided to wear contact lenses instead of glasses. I didn't tie my hair, since my hair is shorter, and at this time our uniform has changed too because we have this promotion thing going on. Also at this time, I forgot my name badge thing since I lost it at home somewhere. Then the same lady who complained about me came to my register again, and this time she acted all nice and friendly. She tells me that it's been a month since I shopped here. I was not happy with the service I received, so I didn't come here for a month. And then I say, "I'm sorry that you weren't happy with the service you received." And she goes, "It's okay." Then I continue to scan and pack her items. Then she suddenly says, "You pack better than the lady that served me last month. She was the reason why I didn't shop here for a month." I thought for a while and felt a bit sorry for her because she wasn't happy with someone who works here and serves her. Then she goes on a rant and says I dislike that lady. She was terrible at packing and serving me, and I had to complain to the manager at the front desk at how she didn't listen. Then it hits me. She was talking about Emmy, but she didn't know that the person she complained about was just right in front of her. Then went on another full rant about how I was a bad packer and how she spent $500 for all this and to get her bags dumped as if it was a garbage dump, etc. etc. So I just awkwardly nod and smile and pretend to agree with her, and I say things like, that is not right. I think she should pack your bags correctly. And I wanted to roll my eyes so badly, but this was hilarious. She thought I was a completely different person. I'm just the same person, but I dyed my hair and cut my hair and I'm wearing contact lenses. After I pack and scan her items, she compliments at how fast I scan and how amazingly I packed her bags. Then she goes, can I please get your name? I'd like to tell the front desk about how you are a wonderful server and you've done my packing very well. But I packed her bags literally the same as last month. So I told her that my name was Emily. My name isn't Emily BTW, to add in the fun of her thinking I was a completely different person. Then she goes off to praise me and says that I will come back to this store. Thank you, Emily, for saving me. And she walks off and tells the front desk about how much of a wonderful server I am and blah blah blah. As I serve the next customer, I laugh and smirk at how she thought I was someone completely different and how it was fun to play along. At the good times. The end. Thank you. Next. I work at a store that sells mid to high-end leather products, bags, wallets, gloves, etc. This happened today and told to the best of my recollection. A customer is browsing, picks up a pair of gloves, walks over to me and asks, is this real leather? Me, yes it is. Full grain calfskin. Him, no it isn't. I can tell by the feel. He holds the gloves out to me, motioning me to feel them. I rub them in my hands, and I repeat, it is real leather. Him, no it isn't. If it was real leather then it'd be worth the price, $115. Since it's not, give me a discount. His whole demeanor gave off this vibe as if he expected me to simply agree. I stand there with perplexed look on my face and decline his request. You know the store, coach? They have one just like this, but it's cheaper and real leather too. It's stiff and stronger than these, my store's gloves. I don't like these, especially for driving, because the steering wheel rubs them then they become sticky. I'm even more baffled now and I mutter out an okay. We both just look at each other for a second. But what would you know, you're just a worker. Me now completely dumbfounded. Yeah, you're right. I am. More silence. We stare at each other. He shrugs his shoulders, puts the gloves back, and walks out. I brush off the encounter and didn't give it much afterthought, but now as I lay here in bed, it's keeping me up. People are bizarre. Thank you. Next. A recent post here reminded me of this. So I had a coworker who gave special pricing to certain frequent customers of his. It was annoying if his specials would come in when he wasn't around, but if they came in when he wasn't in, I would charge them whatever price rang up. If it was on sale, you get the sale price. If it was regular pricing, you get regular pricing. I don't care who you are, all customers are treated the same. They would moan and complain. Some would wait until he was in, some would suck it up and pay like an adult. On this particular day, coworker is not in. One of his super special customers walks in and demands to order some product. Sure, it's an assortment of 10 or so items. She's reading off a list, typing them in. She's telling me that coworker said she could have this for this price and that for that price. Shocker, all the prices he quoted her were the full price. Then we get to her last item and she says to me, now your competitor has this for $25. I know you do price matching. This is a true statement. I type the product in. It comes up regular price for $20. I open my mouth to inform her that we are already less expensive, but she puts her hand up and tells me that she knows I don't like to adjust pricing, so she doesn't want to hear my complaint and that she will walk out the door and never come back if I don't do this for her the one and only time she asks for it. Well, since the customer is always right, I adjust the price up to match the competitor's price.